If you are a man and over 60 years old, here's something you probably never heard before. Much of the fatigue, the decrease in sexual drive, the weaker mornings, and even the loss of confidence you're feeling may not just be because of age, it could be your diet, more precisely, the vitamins you're failing to consume. There are vitamins because hidden in common foods, there are three natural nutrients that can silently boost your energy, revitalize your performance, and restore your vitality. Without blue pills, without discomfort, and without waiting months. I am Dr. Anna, a doctor graduated from USP with a specialization in nutrology from the Federal University of Sao Paulo with over 25 years of clinical experience helping men. How can I help you recover your strength, endurance, and enthusiasm for life? As a researcher in the Department of Andrology at Unifesp, I have followed the latest Brazilian studies on men's health. And what I'm about to tell you may surprise you because it's not about testosterone injections or prescribed medications. It's about fuel, real and natural fuel, that your body knows and loves. Most men believe decline is inevitable. But what if I told you there's a vitamin that floods your arteries with fresh blood, another that gently restores testosterone, and a third that boosts your energy at the cellular level? This isn't theory, it's proven nutritional therapy based on clinical research from Unicamp and the ABC School of Medicine, and confirmed by real stories from patients I've treated at my clinic in Sao Paulo. Today, I'll show you exactly how to use these three essential vitamins to transform how you feel physically, emotionally, and intimately. Stay with me. What you'll learn next could change the way you age. Before we dive deeper, if you're interested in staying strong, energized, and confident after 60, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to not miss any health advice designed specifically for you. And if you find this video helpful, write a 1 in the comments. If not, write 0 and tell me what you'd like to see next. I'm here to help, and tell me which Brazilian state you're watching from. We're building a national community of men determined to age with vitality, and your comment could inspire other men in your region who are suffering in silence with the same problems. Last week, I received a message from a 71-year-old gentleman from Florianopolis who implemented these vitamins for just 3 weeks. He wrote, "Doctor Anna, my wife asked what happened to me. It feels like I went back 15 years in time." Imagine what that meant for him and his relationship after years of frustration. Now let's understand what really happens to the male body after 60 and why conventional solutions often fail or bring unwanted side effects. The problem isn't just the natural drop in testosterone, which decreases about 1% per year after 40. According to research from the Brazilian Society of Endocrinology and Metabology, the real challenge is a combination of factors that create what I call the perfect storm against male potency. First, we have vascular changes. A study from the USP School of Medicine showed that after 60, the elasticity of blood vessels can decrease by up to 35%, directly affecting blood flow to the genital area. It's like trying to fill a balloon with a partially obstructed hose. It simply doesn't work well. Second, there's accumulated oxidative stress. Professor Dr. Paulo Cesar from the Biochemistry Department at UFRJ explains that male cells, especially in genital tissue, are particularly vulnerable to damage from free radicals that build up with age. This literally rusts your cellular machinery. Third, the reduction in nutrient bioavailability. Even with a reasonable diet, after 60, the body absorbs fewer nutrients due to changes in the digestive system. A Unifesp study showed that men over 65 absorb approximately 30% fewer fat-soluble vitamins and B12 than younger men, even on the same diet. And finally, we have Brazilian lifestyle factors that worsen this picture. High consumption of ultra-processed foods, chronic stress in big cities, environmental pollution, sedentary lifestyle, and use of medications that interfere with sexual function, like some antihypertensives and antidepressants. That's why simply taking a blue pill doesn't solve the fundamental problem. It's like putting a Band-Aid on an exposed fracture. It may mask the symptom momentarily, but it doesn't treat the real cause. All right, let's start with the first vitamin. And it may surprise you, it's not a trendy supplement or an exotic nutrient from some distant place. It's a vitamin that has been quietly studied by scientists for its powerful ability to restore circulation, support the prostate, and return firmness where it matters most. Let's talk about vitamin D and why every man over 60 should make it a daily habit. Vitamin D, the supercharger of circulation. I'll never forget the expression on George's face. Oh, he was 72 years old, sitting in my office, and said something I've heard from many men. Doctor, I'm no longer the man I used to be. His energy was low, his confidence had vanished, and intimacy had become a distant memory. But what stood out most wasn't what he said, but what he didn't know. George didn't realize that his biggest problem wasn't age, it was insufficient blood flow. And it turns out that one of the most powerful ways to restore it is through vitamin D. This vitamin, long considered a symbol of vitality in cultures around the world, is now backed by modern science for what it does to aging arteries. Vitamin D is associated with compounds that act as fuel for your blood vessels. It helps your arteries expand, improves circulation, and elevates nitric oxide levels. The latter is fundamental. Nitric oxide is the molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and allowing blood to flow freely, especially to the areas where older men need it most. What's remarkable is how quickly it works. In a clinical study conducted by the University of São Paulo in partnership with Albert Einstein Hospital, older men who normalized their vitamin D levels experienced notable improvements in erection strength and endurance in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks without side effects, without prescriptions, just the natural restoration of blood flow. But the benefits don't end there. Vitamin D also helps calm inflammation, reduce oxidative stress, and protect the prostate. 3 problems that slowly wear down men's health over time. A study from the Clinics Hospital in Porto Alegre demonstrated that men with adequate vitamin D levels had 42% fewer symptoms of enlarged prostate. For men struggling with nighttime bathroom visits or the slow pressure of an enlarged prostate, vitamin D offers natural and gentle support. Here's another impressive fact. According to research from the endocrinology department at the Federal University of Minas Gerais, vitamin D is directly linked to testosterone production. Dr. Roberto Alcantara, the study coordinator, states that men with optimal vitamin D levels have on average 30% more bioavailable testosterone than those with a deficiency. And the most surprising part, despite living in a tropical country, a survey by the Ministry of Health showed that approximately 70% of Brazilians over 60 have insufficient vitamin D levels. The reasons include less sun exposure due to urban lifestyles, constant use of sunscreen, necessary but it limits vitamin D production, pollution in big cities that blocks some of the necessary radiation, the natural decrease in the skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D with age, and low consumption of foods rich in this vitamin. George followed my advice. Moderate morning sun exposure 15 to 20 minutes before 10 a.m. without sunscreen on arms and legs. Consumption of fatty fish twice a week, like sardines and tuna. And a vitamin D3 supplement of 5,000 IU, as per medical guidance. That was all. 2 weeks later, he returned to my office. The same man, but with different energy. His posture had changed. He smiled more, even joked that his wife had started looking at him differently again. This wasn't magic. It was biology reactivated through an essential vitamin. It's easy to overlook vitamin D because it's not flashy. It doesn't promise quick fixes or make big claims on a shiny package, but that's exactly why it works. It supports your body where it needs it most. Your blood vessels, your heart, your prostate, and yes, your performance. So if you've been feeling slower in the mornings, if intimacy seems more like a memory than a reality, I insist, don't reach for pills first. Normalize your vitamin D. Nature placed this nutrient here for a reason. It was created for strength, endurance, and restoration. And as powerful as this vitamin is, it's just the beginning, because next I'll share the second vitamin that helps older men boost cellular energy and support natural hormone production without injections, gels, or expensive clinics. And most men have ignored it their whole lives. If you're liking this information, please give it a like now and share it with a friend or family member who could benefit. As I always tell my patients, applied knowledge is power. 2. Vitamin B12, the cellular energy potentiator. I still remember the silent frustration in Carlos's voice when he leaned in and said, "I no longer feel like a man." He was 67, in shape for his age, retired and doing everything right. But something had changed. His drive had disappeared, not just in the bedroom, but in life. He felt slower, weaker, almost invisible. What Carlos didn't know and what many men don't realize is that this isn't just about age, It's about vitamin B12 deficiency. According to research from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, over 60% of Brazilian men over 65 have suboptimal B12 levels. Testosterone isn't just a number or a hormone, it's a feeling. It's the inner fire when you wake up ready to face the day. It's the confidence in your voice, the strength in your handshake, and yes, the passion that fuels intimacy and purpose. And the problem is that after 60, most men have low B12 levels, but there's a natural way to refuel your system again, and it doesn't come in an injection or a gel. Let me explain why B12 is so crucial for male potency, especially after 60. First, it's fundamental for energy production in the mitochondria, the power plants inside every cell in your body. Dr. Ricardo Mireles, endocrinologist at the State Institute of Diabetes and Endocrinology in Rio de Janeiro, explains that without adequate B12 levels, mitochondria function like a poorly tuned engine, inefficient and low yield. This explains the deep fatigue many men feel. Second, B12 is essential for neurological health. It keeps the myelin sheath, the insulation of nerves, intact and functioning properly. This is crucial for genital sensitivity and the transmission of pleasure signals. A study from the Medical Sciences College in Santos demonstrated that men with B12 deficiency had up to 40% reduced genital sensitivity. Third, B12 is necessary for the healthy formation of red blood cells. These cells are your body's oxygen deliverers. Without enough oxygen, erectile tissues can't function properly, as explained by Dr. Carmita Abdo, coordinator of the Sexuality Studies program at USP. A healthy erection depends on an adequate oxygen supply. Without it, it's like trying to light a bonfire without enough air. Fourth, B12 directly participates in hormonal metabolism. It helps regulate homocysteine levels, an amino acid that, when elevated, impairs hormone production and damages blood vessels. Researchers at UniFSP demonstrated that men with normalized B12 levels had a better hormonal profile and less vascular oxidative stress. What makes B12 deficiency particularly common in older Brazilian men? Stomach acid production decreases with age, reducing the ability to absorb B12 from food. Common medications like omeprazole, metformin, and some antihypertensives further impair this absorption. The typical Brazilian diet often lacks rich B12 sources, especially for those who reduce red meat consumption for health reasons. Conditions like atrophic gastritis and reflux, common after 60, compromise absorption. When Carlos started supplementing B12 in sublingual form, which doesn't depend on stomach absorption, and included B12-rich foods in his daily diet, something changed. In 1 week, his energy increased. He said he felt more present, more connected, more alive. His mood improved, his sleep deepened, and that fire he thought he'd lost forever started to reignite. The best Brazilian sources of B12 include beef liver, the most potent source. Just 30 grams supplies 100% of the daily needs. Mollusks and oysters from the Brazilian coast. Lean beef, especially cuts from the loin like picanha and sirloin. Fresh sardines from the Brazilian coast. Aged cheeses like requeijão and canastra. For vegetarians and vegans, supplementation becomes essential as plant sources don't contain active B12 in significant amounts. We live in a world that sells quick fixes for male decline. Injections, synthetic pills. But the truth is, your body was never broken. It just needed the right fuel. Vitamin B12 provides that fuel in the most natural way possible. One of the things I like most about B12 is its simplicity. No special preparation, no complex plan, just including rich foods like liver, sardines, lean red meat, and supplementation when necessary can significantly change your biology. And when you combine this with small changes like better sleep, some movement, and deep breathing, you create a hormonal environment that works with you, not against you. This isn't just about recovering energy, it's about recovering yourself. The man who walks tall speaks clearly and lives with purpose. Vitality isn't youth, it's life force. And vitamin B12 is one of the most underrated tools we have to reclaim it naturally and powerfully. Carlos isn't alone. I've seen dozens of men transform their energy and confidence just by normalizing their B12 levels. It's not flashy, but it works. And when your cellular metabolism starts to reactivate, everything changes. Your sleep, your mood, your metabolism, your connection with your partner. But while B12 is essential for energy, we still need a third vitamin to complete the powerful trio. This vitamin acts as a protective shield, preserving and optimizing everything the other two vitamins helped build. And that's exactly what the next vitamin offers. 3. Vitamin E, the protector of arteries and powerful antioxidant. A few years ago, I worked with a man named Walter. He was 73, had been an engineer, a proud father of 3 sons, and someone who always prided himself on staying active. But when he entered my office, he wasn't the same. His words were firm, but his shoulders were slumped. He said, "Doctor, I'm tired all the time. Not just in my body, but in my mind, in my spirit. I wake up already exhausted." It wasn't sadness. It was burnout. He had lost his vital spark. I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you felt truly energized throughout the day? He looked at me perplexed. Usually I start the day without energy, he said. And there was the clue, because the male body, especially after 60, is under constant attack from free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells, arteries, and hormones. It's like invisible rust corroding your internal machinery. And that's where vitamin E comes in. Most men dismiss it as something basic, but researchers at the USP School of Pharmaceutical Sciences discovered that vitamin E is one of the most powerful antioxidants for specifically protecting male tissues. Dr. Paulo Saldiva, tenured professor at the USP School of Medicine, explains, vitamin E is like a molecular shield that protects cell membranes from oxidative stress, particularly important in male genital tissues, which are extremely sensitive to oxidative damage. When Walter started consuming vitamin E-rich foods daily, extra virgin olive oil, Brazil nuts from the Amazon, Brazilian sunflower seeds, grapes, and avocado, he felt a change in just a few days. He told me, not only do I have more energy, I feel more stable, like I don't crash in the middle of the day. This happens because vitamin E supports your body's natural rhythm, protects your cells from oxidative stress, improves mitochondrial function, the cell's power plants, and supports overall cardiovascular health. A study published by the Brazilian Society of Cardiology showed that men who consumed adequate levels of vitamin E had 25% more elastic blood vessels, fundamental for sexual health. The Federal University of Santa Catarina conducted a revealing study with 320 men between 60 and 75 years old. Those with the highest vitamin E levels showed 37% less arterial stiffening, 42% better blood flow in genital tissues, 28% fewer inflammatory markers, and significantly higher nitric oxide levels, essential for healthy erections. Professor Dr. Januario de Andrade from the ABC School of Medicine explains that vitamin E is particularly effective in combating a specific type of damage that affects erectile tissues, lipid peroxidation. This process damages cell membranes and impairs the ability of blood vessels to respond to dilation signals. A fascinating aspect of vitamin E is that it works in synergy with other vitamins. It recycles vitamin C, enhances the benefits of vitamin D, and protects the cells where B12 does its energy work. It's like a support system that maximizes all the other nutrients. The best Brazilian sources of vitamin E are Brazil nuts from the Amazon, one of the richest sources in the world, extra virgin olive oil produced in southern Brazil, abundant and highly bioavailable avocado in our country, sunflower and sesame seeds, Brazilian peanuts, organic spinach, and kale. Walter implemented these sources in his daily diet with special emphasis on Brazil nuts, just 3 per day. In 2 weeks, his energy had changed dramatically. In 1 month, his wife called to thank me. "Doctor, Anna, I have my husband back, not just in intimacy, which improved significantly, but in everything. He has energy to play with the grandkids, to travel with me, to plan the future. It's like a light was relit. And when energy flows constantly, everything becomes easier. Walking, thinking, being present, and yes, performing in the moments that matter." Vitamin E also supports cardiovascular health, which plays a huge role in older men's performance. Weak circulation means weak function, and vitamin E's antioxidant properties are natural protectors of arterial health. The beauty of this vitamin is its simplicity. It requires no special preparation or complicated prescription. It's present in accessible foods and offers results without needing complex plans. I tell my patients if you want consistent cellular protection, start with consistent habits, and including vitamin E sources daily is one of the best. It's surprising how something so common can make such an extraordinary difference. Walter didn't change his entire life. He just included vitamin E-rich foods daily. And 2 weeks later, his wife called to thank me, not just for the guidance, but for returning the version of her husband she hadn't seen in years. Protected energy is the foundation. Without it, nothing else functions properly. And as you rebuild and protect it, layer by layer, you start to feel your body working in harmony again. But what happens when you combine these three vitamins, D, B12, and E, day after day, in a rhythm your body understands? That's when the real transformation begins. In an innovative study conducted by the Medical Sciences School of Santa Casa de São Paulo, men between 60 and 75 who normalized these three nutrients experienced significant improvements in all markers of sexual health and vitality, as explained by Dr. Mauricio Simoes, tenured professor of urology at UNIF-ESP. These vitamins work in synergy to create a biochemical environment that optimizes vascular, hormonal, and energetic function, the three pillars of male potency. The secret is in the combination. Vitamin D optimizes your blood vessels and supports hormone production. B12 provides the necessary cellular energy for all metabolic processes, and vitamin E protects all of it from damage, acting as a molecular shield against accelerated cellular aging. It's like a perfectly tuned orchestra where each instrument is essential for the final harmony. And when this nutritional symphony starts playing in your body, the results can be truly transformative. My patient Roberto, a 69-year-old lawyer from Belo Horizonte, summed it up well after implementing this protocol for just 30 days. Dr. Anna, it's not just that my sexual function improved dramatically. It's that I feel connected again with my body, with my wife, with my life. The mental fog lifted, my energy returned, and with it, my confidence in all areas. But how exactly should you implement these three vitamins in your daily life? What's the most effective way to absorb them? And how to avoid the common mistakes many men make? In the next part of this video, I'll share a practical 21-day action plan specifically formulated for Brazilian men over 60 who want to naturally restore their potency and vitality. I'll show you exactly which foods to consume, in what quantities, when, and how to combine them for maximum absorption. I'll also reveal the 5 mistakes most men make when trying to improve their sexual function after 60. Mistakes that can completely sabotage your efforts no matter how many vitamins you consume. If you've appreciated this information so far, please give it a like and share this video with other men who could benefit. This is a conversation that needs to happen more openly in our society. And if you have any questions about what we've discussed so far, leave them in the comments. I make a point to respond personally because my mission is to help as many men as possible recover their vitality and confidence in this important phase of life. Remember, aging is inevitable, but losing your potency and vitality isn't. With the right information and consistent actions, you can experience a new spring in your life, no matter your current age. See you in the next part of this video, where we'll turn all this knowledge into a practical action plan you can start implementing immediately.